All right, we're live. And I'm live from Waterloo, Iowa today. Paul's there, still in Jacksonville. And Jason will be joining us, we hope, in a few minutes from Omaha. He's probably got a lot to say. I know I have a lot to say today. Paul, you want to talk about Cincy real quick first before we move on?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you guys can see, we've got the link here on the screen. It's for our sponsor, Terry's Scentsy page. Scentsy is amazing products. Everything from hand soaps and creams to sugar scrubs and waxes and things to make your body smell good, things to make your house smell good, things to make your clothes clean. You name it, they have it. As far as cleaning and smelling good. So, again, these are products I guarantee you, at some point, you're going out to buy Tide, you're going out to buy, counter cleaner, whatever. You don't give your money to the big chain stores, Walmart, Targets of the world. Order from Terry. Try out the products. You're going to absolutely love it. The products come fast. They smell great. You're going to love it. Check out Terry's Scentsy page. Check out the link below.
Cool. Hey, before we get started on Illinois football, I'm going to stall a little bit just so we can get Jason here, because before I go on my little rant, I want him in here hearing it. The Iowa football program got some bad news over the weekend. And you guys all remember Ava Jones, the star basketball commit that was run over with her and her family.
Yeah.
They found out that they figured she'd be taking a year off her first year so she could recuperate and get better. But they found out that she tore all 4 ligaments in both knees. And now, even though her doctor didn't say this, Lisa Bluter said that she probably will never play basketball again. However, Ava has a different point of view. She told a reporter that she will take 2 years off from the team and she plans to play again. But in the meantime, during those 2 years, she will be a part of the team. She'll be on the sidelines. She'll be there cheering the team on and being part of the team activities. So, because, as you guys know, she's got a scholarship whether she plays or not. And so, but, that's the sad part, is that's one instance, a guy who wasn't paying attention to what he was doing and ODing on drugs wiped out somebody's career, lost a life to a man, changed these guys' lives forever. And, and I know that most of our fans have been following the story, and I was going to lose out on another Caitlin Clark type player.
Yeah, that's really, it's a sad story all around, but, definitely, my thoughts and prayers are with her and her family, and hoping that, she recovers well enough to, live a normal life, let alone play basketball.
Right. I mean, and that's not the worst thing in the world. As long as she can live a normal life and walk again and stuff. She is walking. And I think the reason why they did the MRI on the knees is because the article said she was complaining that her knees felt loose. They didn't feel right. No wonder. And the doctors say, I'm surprised she didn't walk in here in pain that she could even walk.
Wow.
That's all 4 ligaments. Nothing's holding her knee together.
That's tough.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then I'm anxious because not tomorrow morning, but the morning after at 5 a.m., I get to do the MRI on my knees, and we'll find out what's going on with me. Because I tell you, it's been a rough week. Especially yesterday when, we go to the reunion and I had to stand around all day. And it's just like, luckily my brother and his wife had a table to where I could just keep going back to and sit for a few minutes to get the soreness out of my knees. Then I'd pop right back up again. I go, it's just like, don't do that. Just sit here. And I go, but they won't come to me. I keep seeing people I want to talk to.
And I just want to say this too, real quick. I mean, on a little bit of a happier note, right? Because we don't want to be total doom and gloom. If you guys missed our video from this past Friday, we had on, Jasmine Bybee, And she has an incredible story. Most of the show wasn't even really football related. We talked a lot about her and her story. And, you know, if you are a Spencer Petras detractor or hater, I definitely encourage you to go back, watch Friday's video. He's a good dude. She's fun. She's an amazing story. So check out Friday's show if you guys missed it.
Yeah. The cool thing about that show is among my friends, I got a lot of positive feedback, and I think, you know, it did not get a ton of views. I'm gonna go look and see how many views it got. It did not get a ton of views, but I'm gonna tell you the positive feedback I got back makes it worthwhile, guys. They loved her on the show.
Well, she did add some eye candy, you know. I mean, so there was always that.
You're not allowed to say that. Wait a minute, the wrong one. So there was always that. You're not allowed to say that. Get out of there. Get out of there. Wait a minute, the wrong one. So there was always that. Oh, Paul, I got us caught in a loop. I can't get me out of.
Oh no. Well, speaking of loops and caught in a loop, you don't want to be caught in a loop of stink. And so if your house has a funk to it, make sure you check out Terry's Scentsy link here. Get you some air freshener, get you some wax, and get yourself out of the loop of stink.
Yeah. So what I was doing is I was trying to go back to the YouTube page to see how many views we got with her, and we only got like 37 views. Which is sad because the 37 people who saw it enjoyed it and positive feedback. So go watch that one too, guys. Go watch the one from Friday. And Jason's working his way in. And let's get some more views on that one. That one deserves a whole lot more views than it got. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning.
Hey, we just kind of stalling for time because I wanted to get into some rant and stuff. And I wanted you here to tear me down when I got it going.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, everybody saw yesterday on my on the Facebook group page of my little rant about not, you know, putting it all on Spencer Petras. You know, was he perfect? No. Did he have some issues? Yes. But I just didn't like the way he was being attacked because I think people were being blind that there are other issues going on, you know, and not everything is his fault. And so, you know, when you got a bad O-line that's not doing their job blocking and can't manage to give him just a couple of more seconds to get the ball out of his hands, you know, granted, I think he's taking too long. He's missing his open receivers because he doesn't even see them. But, you know, the thing is he's still getting the ball to the other receivers. They're just dropping them. Okay, I got the one where he threw it and flipped it right in front of the running back. I don't know how that happened, how you missed that so bad, but okay. They got well, let's just say for the first time this week, Brian Ferentz had some bad plays to call. You know, when you're moving the ball down the field, running the damn ball, why are we trying to throw it or doing sweeps, end arounds, and whatever else he tried to do? You know, little trickery plays. You know, that's not the time to do it. It was working. Run the damn ball into the end zone. That was working. That's what got him there, and that's what they should have done. Okay. So some of the poor play calling. I think the O-line coach is garbage right now because he's not fixing the guys' problem. Yes, they're young and inexperienced, but they're not improving. They're getting worse, if anything. You know, you shouldn't have let Spencer get sacked 5 times. You know, Spencer, you know, some of those guys came so quick and so fast, Spencer didn't even have time to react. Not at all. And it's almost like Illinois knew the play before we did. So this is why I said the play was predictable. Jason, I know you disagreed with me on that one, but the play calling had to be predictable most of the time because those guys were right in our back door even before we snapped the ball. They were crossing that line as the ball got snapped. And how did they know when to get there? That's my question. How did they know?
Like, what do you mean? I don't even understand what you're saying.
Okay.
They didn't know the play call. Like, are you talking about the blitzing up the middle? Like,
yes,
they just went between the guard and
that's what I'm saying is they were running through. They knew when to run through. I guess I want to say the snap count. They knew what the snap count was because they timed it perfect. They were
Okay.
already running at the quarterback before the ball was snapped.
That's on Spencer, the coaches.
That was, yes, that's a good call. Not predictability.
Okay.
The snap count, maybe they guess right, and it happens at every game, every level. The defense sometimes just guesses right?
Right.
It just happens as far as blitzing, and they guess right on a couple blitzes, and maybe that's one thing Iowa needs to do is switch up the cadence.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Okay.
Their cadence may be a little predictable, but the play calling was far from predictable.
Okay. All right. That's what I meant to say. Okay. That's what I meant to say.
Paul, what's up?
Yeah, I want to make another point here too, because the way Iowa's pace of play is on offense, right? A lot of times we're taking the play clock down. It's real easy to guess when you're going to snap the football if there's 1 second left on the play clock.
That's true. That's true too.
That's another one. I mean, that would be another one. But the play calls in that game were, if it was predictable, they would have won that game. We wouldn't have had. I mean, the stupid. God dang it! The stupid reverse. I mean, he calls these trick. They're not trick. I mean, I guess you can call reverse a trick play, but that's not the worst timing of all of them. They were dominating. They rushed for 55 yards. The announcers were even like, they only had like 0 yards to start of this drive, and now they're at 55. Yeah. And the very next play, he calls that tight end screen, and they ended up in a 3rd and 14 or something?
Yeah.
Because of the tight end screen. They were just pounding Illinois. And it was right after I messaged that Illinois' defense was getting tired. You could see it.
Right.
Illinois'
Somehow they
defense
found a little
tired.
extra mojo.
And Iowa was just running the ball down the field.
Hey, I don't have a problem with the red zone reverse. It worked fine against USC in the Holiday Bowl.
It was a different kind of reverse.
Right. But I get, follow me here. I mean, to me, it's not play calling. It's execution. By the way, that is a pretty good Illinois defense. I don't think they've given up a touchdown at all in their home games yet this year. Competition being what it is, but it's still. So I mean, they are a good defense. I don't want to take anything away from Illinois, and I'm not going to sit here and blame the play calling and say, well, that was a dumb time to do this, because I get, if he waltzes into the end zone untouched, nobody's saying, well, that was a terrible call to run a reverse there.
It's about risk versus reward is what it is. When you can't score is what it is. It's about risk versus reward. You were doing something very well all the way down the field. They were running the ball very well, and then you call that tight end screen that hasn't worked since Kentucky, and they call it every game. Last week it wouldn't have worked if you remember, but Laporta stiff-armed 2 guys to get 8 yards, remember, on the very exact same play. So that hasn't worked. It worked against Kentucky, but that's it.
Yeah, I had to laugh. When you were saying that Caleb Johnson, once he learned to do a little stiff arm, he gained a few more yards, and it was his stiff arm that took away his 7-yard run on that play.
Well, you can't stiff arm the face mask.
I know that. I just had to laugh. I thought about what you said, and I know you can't stiff arm the face mask. But I tell you what, the camera had a good, clear vision of that one.
I mean, he wasn't even looking where he was stiffing. He just knew there was somebody there.
Yeah,
and he was just stiffing.
Are you saying Caleb Johnson gave him a stiffy?
I knew it. I saw your face, Paul, and I knew it. Your brain went, as soon as I said it, your brain went there.
It went there.
But no, it's about risk versus reward, Paul, when it comes to play calling.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're struggling so bad at something, you don't want to call a play that could actually lose like 8 yards, because then it's over for you. And that, I wish they would have went back to that, and I thought they would. The shovel pass, if he gives it to Bruce instead of shovel passing, it's a touchdown, right? Yeah. So I don't know why they didn't go back to that and give it to Bruce and see if Illinois adjusted on that. But
yeah,
no, I'm not talking about the entire game. I'm just talking about the situations, the silly play calls and the situations is what I'm talking about. Because they drove down the field 3 times. They drove all the way down the field, and they got him in field goal range. And one time, I think Peters took a sack that knocked him out of field goal range, so he punted it. But they were driving the ball, and on this play with the tight end screen, hell, they were almost right on the edge of field goal range when he did the tight end screen. So it's just about risk versus reward.
Right. Well, then when Drew Stevens went to kick that 45-yard field goal, how were you guys confident that he was going to make? I was shocked that he missed it.
Yeah, I went to the restroom and I come back and I was like, what the heck? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he had that one. I thought 45. That's a chip shot for him. He's got this one nailed.
And it normally is. And I don't know. I guess I never saw the replay. I mean, did he miss it bad or?
Well, I can't tell you because I had to watch it on my cell phone. So on my cell phone, I had to wait for the announcers to tell me if it was good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how bad he missed it. If he just barely missed it, if he hit the upright, I don't know. But
he didn't hit the upright, but it wasn't.
So if you guys,
it wasn't a total shank or anything,
right? Okay.
I would say this that it at worst that game in regulation could have ended in a 9-9 tie. At worst it should have. That's where we were if we'd have made that field goal. And then were you guys excited when we thought that Riley had that scoop and score?
Until I saw the first replay. The moment I saw that
once I saw the first replay, I was no longer excited.
Yeah.
This is coming back.
Well, I was actually texting with my Hawk crew on Twitter. I was like, did this really happen? And there's a couple people like Paul in that group that are drunk. And they're like, am I too drunk or did I just see that? And then all of a sudden we saw the replay and I was like, oh, no, you're too drunk. You didn't see anything.
Yeah, it never happened.
It never happened.
Oh, I just felt so bad for him because on the sidelines when he thought it was still a touchdown, how much he was just going nuts on the sidelines.
Defense played unbelievably good.
They did. I got to feel bad for our defense because they have played well enough in every game to win.
Absolutely. 100%.
Can't deny that. Yeah, I mean, you really can't. They gave up a lot of yards, like against Illinois, the first two drives. A lot of the reason why Iowa didn't have any yards, too, on offense is because Illinois had the ball the whole time. And it had nothing to do with Iowa's offense. Because Illinois just took the ball right down the field, like back-to-back times.
They basically played Hawkeye football against the Hawkeyes. When you think about it,
I would say they played more Michigan style.
Okay,
where they just took what Iowa gave them.
Right.
So I would say it was more like what Michigan did to Iowa, where they just took. It was like 3 yards here, 4 yards, 3 yards.
Well, I think we're finding out that we're not as good on the run as we used to be
against the run.
Yeah, because I mean. They're at least finding guys who can at least, get 4 or 5 yards of crack against Iowa. This week it was Chase Brown, and the week before I can't remember the name of the Michigan running back, but he did a number on Iowa.
Blake Corum, yeah.
By the way,
when Iowa's giving up 100 yards to a running back, we're not stopping the running game.
Those are the best 2 running backs in the Big Ten.
I have no doubt in my mind
about that.
What?
Mo Ibrahim might have something to say about that.
He's always hurt.
That's true.
I mean, he's always hurt. I mean, he's good when he's healthy, but he's always hurt.
Okay. All right. Now, anything you guys can think of that I mean, I was in an off week. We're 3-3. Pretty sure we're going to be 3-4 at the end of the next game.
I mean,
so what do you guys think about that? Does that bother you to know that we're have a losing record here next week?
No, because they could still win the rest of their games after that.
They could. I think the West is out of the question now, though.
What?
I think the West is out of the question now, unless they get a lot of help.
I mean, yeah, help, but all these teams are bad. I mean, everybody could beat up anybody. Yeah. The most losses Iowa might have is 3, right?
Okay.
3 losses might be enough to win the West. It's going to be a round robin crap show.
Yeah. So at this stage of the game, Nebraska, Purdue, and Illinois are all tied for first place. Did you guys ever think you'd see that day? Those are usually the 3 bottom teams.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I think Illinois is going to win it anyway. I really do.
Yeah, they're actually,
as long as their quarterback stays
looking pretty solid, aren't they?
As long as their quarterback stays healthy, I really do. Because I mean, they don't have as tough a defenses to go against the rest of the way. This was their last real tough defense. Purdue don't have a tough defense.
Mm-mm.
Minnesota don't have a tough defense, even though their stats say they do. I think they're top 10. But look who they've really played. I mean, they played almost like a Michigan-style schedule, right?
And Illinois beat them already. Was it Illinois that beat Minnesota? Who
No,
beat them?
Purdue did.
Huh?
I think it was
Purdue did.
Oh, Purdue did. Yeah, Purdue did.
Yeah, it was Purdue at Minnesota. That was the shocker.
Yeah, Purdue's winning games. I didn't expect them to win too against Maryland. We had that as a loss. By the way, guys, I don't have my sheet with me, so I'll go over it later. I forgot it.
By the way,
You're supposed to be the leader of the pack here.
Well, I am in Iowa, and not everything is in one place.
I have some bad news for you fellas.
What?
Wisconsin appears to be getting back on track.
Oh,
After one game, because they.
Well,
we'll see.
We'll see, but
That's
the best they've looked all year.
That was Northwestern team. Think about that. Northwestern's absolutely the worst team in the Big Ten right now.
Man, it really isn't close. Who would you compare to Northwestern?
Nobody right now.
Well, I'm asking Paul because he's got the face.
Well, I mean, Nebraska certainly is in that conversation.
They're 2-1 and in first place in the Big Ten.
Well, I mean, Nebraska's better than Northwestern at this point.
Right.
I mean, I think Mickey Joseph is doing a great job. Rutgers should have beat Nebraska. Right?
I don't think Indiana's any good.
No.
But that's East. We don't care about East teams.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys said in the Big Ten. And
I said the Big Ten. I was thinking the whole Big Ten.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think Indiana would smash Northwestern. I mean,
and I don't think Michigan State's any good.
What?
I don't think Michigan State's any good.
No, they're not. I was way off on that team.
Yeah, I think we all were. I think we were all based it on the great season they had last year, but they had all that transfer portal experience last year. Did they all graduate?
No, it was Kenneth Walker. I mean, I did a tweet, or maybe it was fake. It might have been. I think it was a tweet. I think it was a tweet that Kenneth Walker should really get half of Mel Tucker's salary.
I saw that. I remember that tweet.
Yeah, he got $90 million off of Kenneth Walker. I mean, can you believe that? I mean, that's just nuts. Kenneth Walker made Michigan State go last year. They had the worst defense in the country, and this year they don't even have a running game, and they can't do nothing. And they still got one of the worst defenses in the country. So, yeah, Kenneth should call and say, "Hey, dude, I need some money."
Yeah,
you got.
We badly need a Michigan State or Northwestern game right now to cure us.
By the way, I think I saw Rutgers fired their offensive coordinator and then Indiana cut loose one of their offensive coaches too.
Offensive line coach.
Yeah. Well, Kirk said he's not going to do it mid-season, but I do not expect our offensive line coach to be there next year. Kirk's going to give him the season to fix it.
I wish he would get rid of him.
He just needs to have some guts. Stop being loyal and have some guts and said, "This isn't working. Sorry, you're out."
When you have somebody on the staff, he's not really on the staff. I don't know what you would call a consultant, who's a quarterback coach. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, right now it would be simple to move Brian to the O-line and have the quarterback guy be the quarterback coach. But Budmeyer. Just hire him full-time, make him the quarterback coach, and go on from there. Heck, make Brian and Budmeyer co-coordinators so they can work together.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Why don't we do that?
Maybe he doesn't want that. Maybe this Budmeyer guy
Maybe you're right.
Because I think if you put him on the staff, now he has to have recruiting responsibilities and things like that. I don't think he wants that.
I mean, he may want just to get this year over with and look for a job next year.
That's what we're thinking, because he's not. Actually, you know what? I just realized he has a clause that he cannot coach this year as an actual on-field coach, not because of his status, but they had to make that status to keep him legal.
It's maybe he was part of in like a non-compete clause or something.
Yeah, so it's something like that. It's something like that he signed on his contract when he exited
Colorado State.
Yeah,
really, that's interesting.
I was reading something about it. They can't make him a full-time coach even if they were allowed to.
Oh, well, then that just takes away that whole thing.
Yeah, it does. But it does make sense to do that. If our head coach wants to make it to the end of his tenure, and he will, because he'll go out on his own terms, but I'm afraid we're going to go out with a program that's so down that nobody's going to want to come and take it over once he leaves.
Dean,
why would you say that? That doesn't make any sense. They're 3-3 off of a 10-2 season. I mean, that is nuts.
Yeah.
Good Lord, they're actually still upticking in recruiting. So how would that be?
They should be 5-1. 5-1
Doesn't
at
matter. It doesn't matter what they should be. It's what they are. But the sky is not falling. The recruits are not leaving. I mean, this whole apocalypse going on with Iowa fans just floors me. Yeah. Thank God there's a laughing emoji on Facebook, so then I can just laugh at it and move on.
It's so funny. When Iowa has a good season, Iowa fans they'll go to war over how great Kirk Ferentz is, right? You don't say a bad word about Kirk Ferentz after one loss, it's fire everyone.
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
That is typical Iowa fandom. Yes, it is.
I mean, it's the craziest thing. No, the sky is not falling.
And by the way,
the one thing that I really think is going to happen, unless Iowa turns it around and becomes 9-3, or 8-4 now.
Best they can do regular season is 9-3.
Well, 8-4 now because it doesn't matter. You can bring Nick Saban to Iowa and they're not beating Ohio State, right?
No, nobody's going to.
I'm going to say 8-4 unless they become 8-4. Ryan's gone. The O-line's gone. And it just will depend who Kirk will trust be the OC next year. Right? But the recruits aren't leaving. Now, if Brian leaves, we could lose some recruits. Because there are kids who committed to Brian, not the University of Iowa.
Right. But that's the next person's job to convince him to stay with us.
Yeah.
Stay with us. We realize you committed to him, but you also committed to the university.
I just pray Marco stays, but I mean, I don't know if he will. So I'll follow Marco wherever he goes. But
yeah,
he just has the best.
He's not the quarterback of the future, as far as I'm concerned. It's the other one behind him that just committed.
Rezar?
Yeah, because he's got some capability to run himself out of trouble.
Well, so does Marco.
Does he? I didn't know that.
Did you see my stats?
Good idea.
Okay. Well, anyway, either way, I predict, and I think you guys are on board with this. Labus is our quarterback next year.
Yeah.
Unless Marco steps up and wins the job.
But as a true freshman, I don't see that happening. I think it's Labus's job.
Yeah. Because
if Marco actually gets a shot next year, I will be okay. Kirk's turn.
But he's got Carson May in front of him too, though. So he's got two quarterbacks in front of him right now.
I mean, he's got Carson, but I ain't worried about Carson. I mean, it's going to be Marco will pass Carson. It's LaBosse is the one that's is going to be next year's quarterback.
Yeah, there's no way Padilla is coming back after this. There's no way he's coming back. He's going to go find his school. And Petrus could actually come back if he wanted to, but I doubt he will.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
I hope he doesn't upset the apple cart and come back. Because after this year, he might say, oh, you know what? I want another year because nobody's going to draft me, so I got nothing better to do.
No, he could just start coaching or he could transfer somewhere and see if a different offense would be better for him just to prove to himself.
Yeah, right? That's true too, yeah. Yeah, you're right. They're both gone.
He'd be fantastic at UC Irvine or, somewhere.
By home. Somewhere closer to home.
Somewhere closer to home. The California School for the Blind, maybe.
Now that's hitting below the belt, ball.
Yeah.
You got below the belt there.
I mean, but just think, it's awesome that Petrus actually took credit for missing his throws. And he even admitted that there was times he had an open pocket. You can't complain. Nobody touched him. And he threw at Regini's feet. The one that he admitted to also was the Sam Laporta, who ran a great route, was wide open, but he bounced past it to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Petrus admitted to everything of what issues that we all see. So that means he sees it too. Right. And that one where he bounced past it to Sam Laporta, he used the F word. You could see it on camera.
I saw it.
He was like, yeah, he used the F word. And so he knew that was on, and that was a third down in 4 or something. So that would have kept the drive alive too. So there's so many things that
we just had too many wrong. We had too many 3-and-outs, but when the defense sets you up by getting the ball back for you, you got to take advantage of it. You know, like that, was it a fumble recovery? We got the ball in a great field position, and we immediately on the next play, we lost about 20 yards. That
was the reverse. That's what I'm talking about.
I thought that was the one where Petrus was sacked, but Petrus backed out of there so fast that he ended up going about 20 yards downfield and got sacked as the sacker went with him.
I think we got a penalty. What it was there was a penalty for.
There was a penalty, and then there was that reverse, and it made it third and goal from the 23.
Yeah.
It was because
after we had it at the 7 or 6 yard line.
The 4 yard line.
The 4 yard, yeah.
I would have been good.
Have we done that?
I would have been good with 3 quarterback sneaks. Yeah. Well, I would have been good with, after they did that quarterback sneak for 6 yards from the 2 yard line, I would have been like, let's just do that again.
I kind of thought that's what was coming and got shocked that it wasn't.
I know. I was like, you just got 6 yards. Let's just see. Maybe your center is better than what you're giving him credit for.
I think Brian outsmarts himself. I think he outthinks himself sometimes.
He did this game. This game, I think he did. Because it was just every time he tried something different, it just backfired. Every time, it was weird.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is because it didn't work, he'll never go back to it again. We haven't had the Wildcat in a while.
I don't know. That was just the worst game.
He hasn't. I don't think he's tried a jet sweep lately, because every time he's done those in the past, they failed after they worked before.
I mean, they did a jet sweep against USC, like Paul said, but that was ISM running the ball.
That was the year they were doing jet sweeps all the time.
And they did. Tyrone Tracy scored a touchdown against USC on that as well. So
yeah, that's the reverse you're talking about.
Yeah,
that was the Tracy. Yeah.
In the
ISM would get
year we were decent. We were decent that year. Everything worked. We didn't.
If only we did.
Wasn't that Nate Stanley's year?
Yeah.
Yeah, the quarterback everybody loved to hate, but yet he's number 2 all-time quarterback at Iowa.
My favorite quarterback in history. But I think, I want Brian to stay just because I want to see what Iowa does with his offense, with Marco and the boss, right? The fact that we're not seeing any other quarterback, and if they get blown out against Ohio State and they just keep Petrus in, then that's just, that's silly. You're not thinking about next year. You're not, I don't know. You just got to try somebody else. It's not all on Petrus, but some of it is, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. I know I always get hate from the Petrus lovers, and then if I'm positive about Petrus, I get hate from the Petrus haters. So it doesn't matter what I say, I'm going to get some hate.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
I got plenty of it in that article I wrote yesterday. So.
And to me, it's you just have to. It's his senior year, right? You have to try something, and if you're only scoring 6-7 points a game or whatever, then you just have to, regardless. Padilla, you got to give him a shot, but that's only for team purposes.
I think what's going to happen is if we get blown out early, they're not going to go to Padilla because they don't want to hurt Padilla's psychic because he won't be able to move the ball against Ohio State. But honestly, I'm with you. I think they should do it.
They'll go.
I'm just thinking like Kirk is here for a second.
They'll go to Padilla they're gonna. If the Ohio State's defense is going to be one of the worst defense Iowa plays, the defense isn't going to win the game. It's just Iowa's defense isn't going to be able to stop Ohio State. There's no defense that will. in
There's
my
no
mind.
defense that stops
If
Ohio
Iowa
State.
keeps them, because in the first quarter, we can't say Iowa's defense is tired.
Mhm.
But if Iowa keeps them in the first quarter to like 7 points, 10 points, that'd be impressive.
That would be.
But
No,
Ohio State's defense is not as good as Illinois' defense.
Yeah. The only way that we're going to beat Ohio State is to keep the ball on long drives, and we know that doesn't happen this year. It's because you have to keep the Ohio State offense off the field.
I mean, they can. They just got to keep
doing They used to be able to do that.
Well, this year, last week they could do that. They ran the ball. We just talked about it. They ran the ball all the way down the field.
Right.
And it wasn't until –
it's not consistent enough, though.
It wasn't until they called that tight end screen that they were screwed. They had Illinois backpedaling.
Yeah.
What do you got, Paul? You got something on your face.
I don't know. I look at this the QB situation, and all I can say is Iowa fans aren't reacting to 6 football games, and Kirk is all too happy to remind us that they won 10 games last year.
What a joke!
But they also won 10 games in 2002. I don't see how it's relevant here, but
they won 11 in 2002.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, whatever. So we went to the Rose Bowl in 1959. Well,
all he's saying is my system works, guys. So we're going through a rough patch that we're not happy with right now, but my system works.
The thing is,
remind you guys of that.
we do have 6 games now, and if you go back to the last season, right now we've won 3 of our we're 3-4 in our last 7 games. If you go back to the Big Ten championship game, right, and which means we're going to be 3-5, after the Ohio State game. In our last 8,
3-4.
Well, I'm counting the Big Ten title game.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
I wasn't following.
Since Kirk wants to remind everyone that we did win 10 games last year, I was just putting it out there.
Well, wait a minute. Are you putting the bowl game in there too?
Oh, well, yeah. Let's do that now. Now all of a sudden
we're 3-5 if you include the bowl game.
3-5. We're about to be 3-6 in our last 9 games. So
there you go.
and it's the same story every game. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't care. South Dakota State is FCS. Nevada's terrible. I mean, it's the same story every week with Petrus and the footwork issues and missing makeable passes. And yeah, dude he's got some arm talent. Right, he does, and he can put balls in places that's impressive, that boggles the mind. And it more boggles the mind because you're going, how in the hell can he complete that pass but can't throw the 5-yard out?
No, that he does those gotcha moments,
right?
That makes him keep playing. Right, he'll show you a play, and he'll throw one of those passes, and you're like, Jimmy Crickets, look at that. But then in the next play, he'll throw it in the dirt.
And my guess is, look, Padilla or Lambs, Spencer can make passes. Those guys can't. I mean, because he does have kind of a special ability to bottle rocket situations, where you go, oh, wow, okay, that's an NFL throw. That's legit. But then the issue is that the moment there's any kind of pressure at all, it's over. And,
it's over.
And at this point, I think for me, and I think where most other Iowa fans are, we would rather give up the potential to have 1 or 2 NFL quality passes per game if that means we're going to consistently complete the 5-yard, 8-yard passes. We have a guy who can move around long enough, because if the offensive line isn't, playing great football, then we can't have a guy back there who looks like he's wearing cement shoes, So, I mean, for me, that's where I'm at. Yeah, you know what? Padilla might not be able to to complete some passes that make you go, wow. But I'm hoping he can complete the 5-yard out to Laporta when he's wide open. Move the chains.
It's not saying that he could do that because he couldn't do that very well last year, but he needs a chance to show that he improved.
Right.
That's
hasn't improved.
Because we've seen Petrus, right? And if the season's over, then you might as well try Padilla, right? Give him a chance to say, you know what, I could come back last year or next year, right? Just give him a chance to show fans that, Padilla's not it either, right? And then maybe give boss a couple starts this year to get ready for next year. That's how I would deal with this situation, because the bottom line is they are so young that you might as well let the young guys play together.
Well, and again, if the left guard is struggling and he can't block, they're putting in a new left guard. If Tyrone Tracy Jr. goes to Big Ten Media Days, but if he can't catch the ball, he gets passed by true freshmen and transfers to Purdue, right? So why is Spencer the only position on the team, the only player where he's untouchable?
Yeah. It's silly. And it tells you where I understand they love him because he's a good guy, right? And it showed with him crying at the end of last game. He was up there crying, admitting to his faults, right? That he doesn't even know how that happens. Like, he doesn't know how he just throws it into the dirt. Like,
that's up to his quarterback coach. He's experience to show him what he's doing wrong.
He's been through it, Dean.
Right.
His quarterback coach, he's been with Tony Rasiopi. He went to Manning Academy. It's not the quarterback coach when you're in the moment. He has everything down in practice.
Mm-hmm.
When there's nobody coming, obviously he's hitting his passes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's what he does when people are coming at him. That's not the quarterback coach.
Okay, so now what he needs is a psychiatrist. He needs to go sit and talk to somebody. Because he's in his own head right now. He's obviously in his head.
To be real, with Iowa fans the way they are, he's gonna need one just to understand that to understand where he's at in life, regardless. Uh-huh. Watching him, I just felt bad for him and his psyche, right? Uh-huh. I don't want him in no depression like I'm hearing rumors about KJ. So I don't want him to let the Iowa fans destroy who he is, because he could turn out to be a great coach. He said that's what he wants to be, right?
Yeah.
So just go through this the best that you can, and if they do try a different quarterback, be a coach on the sideline, help that quarterback, right? Because people can coach who can't play, right? I was a safety and a fullback and a linebacker, but I never grew above 5'10", so but I can coach quarterbacks because I studied. I worked in Mike Leach's academy for 4 years. So you can do it. So he knows everything to teach another guy that might have the talent. Mm-hmm. So he can't get too far he can't get depressed is what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to, we should lay off of him.
Yeah.
And the coaches should understand that maybe he shouldn't start after Ohio State if it just goes bad, right? For his own sake.
Right. So I want to tie this back to KJ and the rumor that you're here. I've heard rumors too, but how does this depression you're talking about, not getting in his own head and everything, how does that tie into KJ? Is he getting in his own head?
Well, no, he's going through things. He had abdominal issues that really messed him up. And then he gets to where he could play. Then he pulls a hammy. Mm-hmm. And against the Valley, you saw it on that deep post. He got hurt on that play.
Right. Like
he re-hurt his hammy where the camera was on him and he was trying to come back to the huddle and he couldn't. He was just kind of hopping and skipping, trying to you didn't see him in the second half, right?
No, right.
With
Yeah.
all the delays, and there's just no way to get him warmed back up.
Right. That is true. I understand
So the depression, he's never dealt with this.
that.
And
Okay.
like Arlen Bruce said, like he's helping him through it.
Mhm.
And the depression thing is just a rumor, but a lot of athletes go through it when you love the game, you love your team, you want to play, and injuries keep you out. And it's the first time you've ever had to deal with it.
Mhm.
This is KJ's first time since he was probably, little that he hasn't played. And he
Right.
used to play multiple sports, right? So he was always busy.
Mhm.
And now he can't do anything
Okay.
but be, a coach, a teammate,
All
just
right.
help people out. And he's only a sophomore. So it's not like he's a fifth-year senior where he could actually help teach the kids and stuff like that, right?
Well, if he
So
doesn't
it's
play,
not like he's in
if he
his own
doesn't play
head.
any
He's
more
just,
than 2 more games this year, which is
What?
probably not going to happen. He's probably not even going to play He's probably not going to play the rest of the season. He's
Well, that's up
eligible
to
for a red shirt, so he'll be a 5th-year senior. If
that's up
he
to
just-
his hammy. That's up to his hammy if he'll play again.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so. Yeah, but I was hearing different rumors like he was transfer portal bound at the end of the
Oh
year.
no! I mean, yes, that's
That's
been going on
exactly-
for.
But that's why I trust your rumor mill sometimes. That's what I was trying to get at, is if that's the rumor you were hearing.
Oh, I heard that. I've shut that shit down
Okay.
on Twitter. This guy. I mean, yeah, people are trying to start rumors,
They
but
want to make it true so bad to make Iowa look bad, Instead of
Yes.
hoping that the guy will stay. Yeah,
That's
I really
why-
hope he gets in the portal and leaves
didn't you
us.
see what Arlen Bruce said? That's why Arlen Bruce came forward and
Mhm.
said that he's going through some things,
Mhm.
and I'm helping him. Bruce
Right.
shut that rumor down too.
Right.
So, I mean, no, everybody just wants all these Iowa kids to transfer because they want to put it on Brian. They want to put it on.
They want to make it look right, and they want to destroy our program. They want our program to be destroyed completely.
right.
We
How about you,
want to
Paul?
go back. We want to go back to the 1 in 10 days or the whatever.
Yeah, my thing right now is, one, we got the bye week before Ohio State, and I mean, this is a little hyperbole. I get that, but I don't think Iowa needs to prepare for Ohio State for the next 2 weeks. I don't. I think they need to try to become the best version of Iowa they can be in the next 2 weeks, and
You do know that traditionally Iowa on bye week gives the first week off completely.
Yeah, I don't think I'd do that this year. I
No
don't.
football at all.
I think I would probably be running some spring practices. We'd be doing a lot of technique and fundamental work this week. Maybe not a lot of hitting, but I think I would definitely be doing a lot of fundamentals coaching this week.
I know Kirk won 10 games last year doing it his way, so
Right.
he probably won't be bringing him on the field the first week.
Yeah, Iowa football is free to do what they want, but right now this is a team that, if we're going to blame most of the offensive struggles on the fact that we have a young offensive line, then we need to coach them. They don't need a week off; they need more time being coached. And like I said, I don't even know how much game planning I would do for Ohio State, as much as, hey, we have 2 weeks right now to try to become the best version of Iowa football that we can be. And so that after the Ohio State game, we can really focus on Purdue, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nebraska, Northwestern. And, because whether we win or lose at Ohio State, right now, we could be anything from Big Ten West champs to not even going to a bowl game. And so that's just me. I would, if going over the next 2 weeks means, obviously you don't want to give Labus his first start at the shoe. That's not a good idea.
Oh, come on. Let's just throw him up to the wolves and see what happens.
But I mean, if you're going to make some kind of change, you have 2 weeks right now to prep somebody else, to, find a package for somebody else, to do something. And I that's just where I'm at. I don't recall a time in the recent past where I was concerned with the spectrum of winning the division and not bowling at all. Mm-hmm. And that's where we are. The potential for both still exists.
I don't know. This losing going into the bye week might be the best thing that happened to Iowa, because it might force Kirk to really look at what they're doing in this bye week, off week, and see what changes they can make and stuff. Because all he kept saying is, we got to get to the bye week. We got to get to the bye week. He goes, we'll do our first 6 games and then get to the bye week, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do our last 6 games.
Yeah. By the way, have they announced a game time yet for Ohio State? I don't think they have.
It'll probably be 11 o'clock game.
Well, let's hope. But
right now Iowa's not deserving of any national
primetime
slots right now of anywhere.
And that could be maybe one of the benefits of losing at Illinois too, right? Now all of a sudden, I mean, look, we're a bad product. If you're not a hardcore football fan, we're a hard team to watch. If you're Steve in Arizona and you just want to tune into a good football game and you don't have any dog in the fight and you watch you might as well just watch the yellow paint dry on the wall here. It's a tough watch.
Oh my God. I was just saying, my brother was watching the game and he texted me during the game. He goes, "This is a boring game." But you know what? Iowa State didn't do any better. Mm-hmm. They only scored 9 points. But their defense held Kansas State to 10. So,
yeah.
I think Iowa State and Iowa are kind of mirroring each other's seasons right now.
Well, I mean, the game itself was like that. So
I know it.
Those are 2 challenged football teams.
My brother-in-law, he may be watching today because he does poke in and watch once in a while. He says Iowa and Iowa State probably won't win another game this year. He says they got nothing. He goes, neither one has an offense.
Yeah, but Iowa doesn't win with offense. So, I mean, Iowa, I still think they'll be bowl eligible. And I think they're going to win games just like they do.
They got to find 3 wins out of the last 6 games.
Last week.
I'll give Northwestern, but man, I'm beginning to question whether we can beat Purdue and Nebraska at this point.
I'm not. I mean, all those are winnable games. I mean,
they're all winnable. They're all very winnable if we do what we need to do. If we're going to continue to play the type of ball we have been playing, then they're not winnable.
I disagree, but I mean, this is how they've won every year. I mean, this is no different.
We score points every year. We score points. We score 24 to 30 points every year, enough to win, and we're not scoring enough points. I mean, we're scoring.
They didn't do that last year. I mean, last year was no different than this year, other than the defense was getting pick sixes. And so, I mean, this is just how Iowa wins. They haven't really done anything on offense except for when Nate Stanley was their QB. When you go back, even look with CJ Beathard, he didn't have that good of a seasons, but the defense carried him. I mean, he beat Wisconsin 10-3, passing for like 70 yards or something like that. So, and he beat Michigan passing for 77 yards. I shared those stats, remember, before the game.
Right.
So this is not the only thing that's new is we keep trying these weird trick plays to make us not look boring. I mean, that's the thing that's new.
And the fact that our defense isn't scoring this year.
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm just talking about the offense. If he would have just stuck to doing what Iowa does and pounding the football, they beat Illinois. Right? I mean, Illinois was wearing down, and it was proof. They could not stop Williams or Johnson. And even Spencer had a 15-yard run or whatever the heck it was. Remember that? When he got hit?
Surprise.
No, but I'm just saying, see? So even Spencer took off and ran.
Yeah.
But we do these silly plays that get us out of our third and shorts.
Yeah.
Right.
But,
By the way, he had nobody around him, so he should not have gone down. He should have continued to run for a few more yards, and he wouldn't have got that silly hit on him. That looks like that may have injured him a little bit.
He should have just dove forward. That's what he should have done. But
well, and sadly, the play was for naught anyway, because we decided to have an uncharacteristic penalty of our own that could have been a 30-yard play for us. The run plus the penalty turned into nothing. Turned into offsetting penalties. Replay the down.
I know. Which is
Spencer took that shot for absolutely nothing.
I'm getting so tired of these penalties lately. I mean, especially the last 2 weeks, the penalties are killing them. They're killing drives. And there's
I think that's another issue that, like what Paul said about this week, that they can work out, they can talk about it. Obviously, they just took it for granted that Iowa doesn't get penalties, like that's a culture thing or something. And because it's been weird this year with the false starts, like just everything.
Is it something that Iowa may have always had that issues, but the referees never caught it before? And somebody's opened up their eyes and say, watch Iowa false starts or holdings and stuff. Keep a special eye on them this year.
That's not
okay. It's just the inexperience, right? Is what we're looking at.
I mean, that could be with them all being freshmen and sophomores on the offensive line. So, but still,
I think we could be.
Go ahead.
I think we could be seeing some inexperience with the officials, not the player. I mean, like the clipping call against Michigan, where absolutely nobody thought that was clipping except for the ref who threw the flag. She was the only one in the world that saw that as clipping.
Same with the unnecessary roughness.
Right.
Yes. Right there. She saw the play was still going. It's like clear when Lee took him down. Is it not Lee? Jones. Jones took him down. The play, Regini was still running. Like there's a perfect camera view of Regini running right at us when Jones took him down.
Right.
And then she was like right there in the camera too, watching Jones do what he did, but the play was still live.
And
that's where I think I started the rumor. She's from Michigan. All of a sudden, I started seeing everybody go, "She's from Michigan."
and truthfully, I don't know the shot Spencer took on Saturday night where he's sliding. I'd call that targeting. I mean, no, maybe he didn't. Maybe there wasn't direct helmet to helmet, but there was definitely contact above the shoulder. Spencer is sliding down. He's supposed to get protected for that, right? I mean, he had given himself up.
Yeah, well, they were saying that the mid body's the one that hit his helmet or his head, and they're saying that's not
his
targeting.
back.
So
He did a roll.
Huh?
He did a roll, but he rolled over Petrus's helmet, like shoulder area. So it was his back that actually.
You guys all probably thought that Petrus would stay down and be injured so we could get Padilla in there, huh? You're probably saying, "Oh, he's hurt. He's getting up lipping. Oh, we're gonna see Padilla now."
Guilty.
I don't know.
Guilty.
I just think they have to, for Petrus's psyche and how crazy Iowa fans are. You could tell it's getting to him.
Yeah.
He could say all he wants to, but after last game, seeing those tears, he knew, and he's probably hearing stuff in class.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can you imagine being him going to class as well? It's
And the other thing is one of his teammates, it might have been Cooper DeJean, had a quote saying he would die for Iowa Hawkeye football. You know, that he loves it. He loves the Iowa Hawkeye football that much. You know
who?
Spencer.
Oh, Spencer does?
Yeah, they were saying he would die. He would die for Iowa.
Well, so would I, but they're not making me the starting quarterback. So
they could. Hey guys, did you happen to notice on the camera? We didn't have a lot to cheer about. So one thing I noticed was when Spencer went to the sidelines, Padilla walked up to him. Did you see there's like a foot difference in the height between those two?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I go, my God, look at the height difference.
I saw it too. It made Padilla look so small. But I mean it was the camera angle. Because there's only like 4 inches difference.
Yeah, okay.
In height.
It
Padilla
did make
probably
Padilla
also
look
had a
bad.
hat on where Spencer would have had a helmet on.
Yeah.
And
He
that
did.
that there's a couple of 2-3 good inches,
Yeah.
But it did though. But I saw that camera shot too, and I was like, it looks Padilla look like a shorty short
He
compared
did.
to.
I was thinking, man, I'm taller than that.
Oh, don't kid yourself.
I know that. Trust me, I don't kid myself too much.
No, Padilla is like 6'1", where Spencer's 6'5". So, but that camera shot Paul's right though. The Padilla had a red hat on, and
Yeah,
Spencer had all his gear on.
right.
So that made Spencer look like a giant.
The more concerning shot was the one where it's after Spencer had thrown his pick and he comes over and Brian's on the sideline laughing with them or laughing about something. That's the one a lot of Iowa fans have latched onto.
Yeah,
so guys, do we want to? There's no game this Friday. Do we want to skip the broadcast or come up with a special show?
That's up to you. I think I might. I think I might do a video on my playbook. I've been talking with people, because I need to talk offense, right? It's legit killing me. You saw my post with the Broncos and the Hawks, and I tweeted right to Mike Leach. I was just tagged Mike Leach in it on Twitter.
You and Paul have something in common. His team only scored 6 points too.
Oh, the Jags.
Yeah,
yeah, but they've scored more than that before. Both Iowa and the Broncos can't score every week.
But I think my Vikings showed some offense. I think they scored 30-something against the Bears.
I would say, as far as doing a Friday show, I would say, as long as there's nothing like extremely newsworthy that we need to discuss, we could enjoy the bye week. Right. But something could happen between Monday and between today and Friday, and it's like, well,
right.
We could take a bye week. We could take a Friday Monday break and come back on Friday with our pregame.
That's fine. But back to what Paul was saying about Spencer and Brian laughing. Spencer would have been doing push-ups if I was a QB coach. We would not be laughing. That is a set. And Parker, if to tell the different styles, if Iowa's defense was giving up 30 points in a game, Parker would not be laughing. If they just gave up, a long pass or whatever. So the difference in coaching styles is, how do I want to say this? Parker would not put up with this offense if he was an offensive coordinator. Put it that way.
Oh, no, those guys would be doing push-ups, running stairs, running.
Oh,
losers.
God. That's just, it's silly on how soft Brian is. Yeah. Like they're protecting Petrus' psyche, I think, which is another reason maybe Petrus should not start if you're trying to protect his psyche. That's what Brian is really doing, is what I think. Because earlier in that game, Brian chewed him out, if you saw that, because he missed a wide open receiver that I don't know if he was supposed to be the primary or if it was supposed to be.
That was the Gavin Williams wheel route that he threw. Gavin wasn't even looking yet. He was open.
Yeah.
Gavin didn't even turn around and look, because Gavin didn't even know the ball was coming his way.
Right.
You might be right about that. Or you probably are right. I shouldn't. But I just saw the actual reaction, and he chewed him out. And I'm like, okay, well, there we go. Well, then at the end of the game, when it's time to win the game,
they're laughing.
They're laughing. So to me, that just tells me that he's trying to protect Petrus a little bit in Petrus's mind. Because there's no way in heck, as a coach, you would be like, all right, you're fine. That's good.
Yeah, everything's okay here.
That's what
you
you're doing.
6 points. Good job.
So to me, that's just, if I'm right, I don't know Brian.
Guys, do you think we should go tempo a little bit more? Because it seems like when we are in tempo, we do really well.
Yes, because you know why? And a lot of quarterbacks are like this. People are actually bringing this up. Why does Pinter look so much better when we run tempo? It's because he's not thinking.
Right.
He doesn't have all that time. A lot of quarterbacks do so much better in tempo.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks to me like Petrus might be one of those because he's thinking about everything else and not about throwing the football, right?
Well, I think
he's doing less. Go ahead.
I would say too, and you would know about this, Coach. When you do go tempo, not only does the defense, not really get to sub so much, but they have to kind of stay in a more basic base defense because you can't call a lot of stuff and get guys in different positions and things like that. So you're going to get a more consistent look, and there's less to think about. Who's coming?
I mean,
who's
that's
not.
true too, and you have more time to see the defense, right? Like what you were saying earlier about Iowa getting up to the line with 10 seconds to go, so it's easier to predict when they're going to snap the ball, right? I mean, and this is the exact opposite, where if you're going up tempo, you get to the line of scrimmage, you still got 20 seconds on the clock. Petrus can literally see everything, have time, think about the play call, think about what's going on. And I think that's why he is so much more accurate in tempo, right? I think that's he's just a tempo quarterback.
Why doesn't
and there is a lot of quarterbacks like that. There literally are, just like practice. I mean, there's gamers, there's kids that excel in practice, there's kids that excel in up tempo, right? But there's also quarterbacks who don't because they feel rushed, right? To me, it looks like he just needs to be. What are you doing?
More game time.
To me,
I'm trying to get my face to lighten up. The sun's come up and now my face has gone dark.
Well, anyway, to me, it looks like Petrus is an up-tempo kind of quarterback.
There we go.
So you're 100% right. I've been talking with people for a while about this. That when people ask me that question, that same question, and that's what I tell them. I mean, that's on tape. So maybe they work on that, right?
Right.
Maybe they have to see how much more accurate he is in the up tempo.
Right.
He's not worried about if his feet are right. He's not worried about, his fundamentals. He's just acting, right? He's just going through trying to complete the pass. So, I mean, I really would love to see an up-tempo Iowa offense. Hell, I would spread the field with, I don't care if you use the 2 tight ends and a wide receiver. I'd get them way out to the outside, and I would have Johnson in there, and I would pound it up the middle if the defense spreads out. If they don't spread, you know how much green grass is out here? Wide open. You know how hard that it would be to cover if they don't? I mean, there's so many things. Iowa has the talent to spread you out, even if you use both tight ends because you don't have a lot of receivers, right? But you can run wide receiver screens, quick passes out here with the tight ends blocking, right? So I would really spread you out, and Johnson is a banger. So you could run up the middle, and you don't do that zone blocking, do gap. You can do straight ahead. You know how easier it is to figure out who to block if you're running gap. So, there's so many things they can work on. That's just one formation that would not be hard to implement. The no huddle would not be hard to implement. So,
you know what else wouldn't be hard to implement?
What?
You know what else wouldn't be hard to implement?
What?
Finding a place on the field for maybe your best athlete in X, right? I mean, we're wasting a year of eligibility for him on punt coverage. You mean?
But he had a good hit, didn't he?
Yeah, but you mean to tell me he can't find a role on the offense somewhere for this year? Something.
I mean, you're right. I mean, you could just tell him what to do.
Right. Hey, dude, we just need you to go out there and run as fast as you can down the field. And that's all we want you to do.
Send him on a post route on a certain play, right? And say, we're going to max protect. You just run a post route. He can run a damn post. But Iowa makes offense look way too difficult.
We do.
It's the craziest thing. And it's funny when people think that our offense isn't hard to learn. It's extremely hard to learn. But that's on us.
That's so funny how Summers said that dumbed it down. If they dumbed it down, they dumbed the people that are running the offense.
No, they didn't dumb it down at all. I don't know what they did to dumb it down, but they didn't. There was just talk. They don't know how to dumb it down, is what I think.
All right.
To be honest,
guys, we're over past an hour. We got to cut this off. I've got to get on the road to Marshalltown to go pick up my wife.
Okay.
So
okay.
we got to close this out. Any last words you guys want to say, or any comments, or?
No, I now you got me thinking about the up-tempo offense. Like I said, I just need to talk offense.
There you go. Get on there, do your thing, buddy. Let us know when you go live or something.
Okay.
I would just say,
right.
Commercial.
Yep.
Commercial before we leave.
Yep. One last time, guys. We got the link here. It's been on the screen the entire time. It's going to be there in the comments. Check out Terry's Scentsy page. Amazing products, amazing scents and odors and cleansers and scrubs and soaps and you name it. It's there. The stuff is fantastic. Terry is amazing. Hi, Terry. And so check out Terry's Scentsy page and for all the smells in your life.
There you go. Bye, guys. See you next time.
Bye, Terry.
See you on Facebook
Bye,
somewhere.
Terry.